everybody and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Jessica Lily, and if you are new here then thank you for tuning in. If you haven't already then please make sure you've hit the subscribe button down below. So I've created this bronzy radiant makeup look and I have to say I absolutely love this look. I'm just obsessed with it. I think this is my favourite makeup look to date. So if you want to see how I created this look, then please keep watching. So first of all, I'm taking my Brightening CC Serum by Terry, and this is in the shade Sunny Flash number 4. So I'm just pumping a little bit onto the back of my hand. So it's a lovely bronzy shimmery shade. And I'm just going to dip my beauty blender into this. And then I'm just pushing this into my skin, and this is going to create a lovely radiant looking base, and it's got a bronzy finish as well. So you can either mix this with your foundation, or you can also, like I'm doing today, wear it underneath your foundation to act as a base. And oh, it smells amazing. So it smells like the Rose de Balm lip balm. If you've ever smelled that, it smells exactly like that, and oh, I'm obsessed with it. It literally smells like roses on your skin. I'm now applying my Givenchy Matissime Velvet Foundation, and this is in the shade 06 Matte Gold. So I'm taking a little bit on my By Terry brush, and I'm just starting from the inner of the face and then bringing that out. And I really love this foundation because it's a slightly more matte finish, so if you tend to get shiny, it's really good at concealing those areas. But it's not heavy, it's not too thick either. It's really blendable, and the consistency is more of like a lighter consistency. So it's perfect to wear every day, and it's really buildable as well. So I always bring it down my neck just to make sure I'm all blended in with my body, because we don't want a pale face and a tanned body, because that's just not a good look. So I always make sure my foundation will match. So that's why it's a little bit darker, because obviously my face is always a little bit pale compared to my body. So now I'm dipping my beauty blender into any excess onto the back of my hand, and I'm just going to go over the whole of my face to really push that into the skin and create a nice flawless finish. Not forgetting my neck either. I would say this foundation is definitely more of a semi-matte finish rather than a full matte finish. It's really buildable. Now picking up my By Terry concealer, and this is the TERRYBLY DENSILISS, I think, concealer. If I am saying this wrong, please can somebody tell me, because I don't want to make a total idiot of myself. But I can't really speak French, so it's all in French. But it says a anti-wrinkle dark circle eye bag serum corrector. So this has got a serum in there, so it's slightly more fluidy, which I like because it's easy to blend under my eye. So I've got this concealer in the shade number 1 Fair, only because I like my concealer to be lighter. And this has a slightly more pinker undertone, which is good because then it's going to brighten under the eye as well. Just take a little bit on the corner of my mouth, a little bit on my chin. slightly more on my forehead, and then I'm going to bring that down into a straight line in the centre of my nose. Taking my beauty blender again, I'm just going to make sure that's all blended out. Blends really, really lovely into the skin as well, but also it covers any dark circles and it really just brightens the under eye. So I really love the By Terry concealer. I'm now taking my IT Cosmetics Heavenly Luxe flat top buffing brush, and this is number 6, and I'm dipping it into my Chanel Healthy Glow Les Beige cream bronzer, and I'm just applying a little bit onto my cheekbones, onto my temples, and some underneath my jaw as well. Now I'm picking up my Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Complexion double-ended brush, and I'm taking the smaller end and just dipping it into my Chanel bronzer again, and I'm going to take this down the sides of my nose to contour. I also do a little bit on the end of my nose and a little bit under my lower lip as well. Now I'm taking my Laura Mercier Candle Glow bronzing powder, and this is in the shade Free, and I'm going to take my Girl On powder brush and just swirl that around, and I'm really going to push this into the skin. And I'm just going over anywhere we've been with our cream bronzer. I love using a cream bronzer first, just because it gives us a guide for when we go in with our powder bronzer. Again, I'm just taking it down my neck and on my chest as well, and a little bit under my chin, and just down my neck, so that's really going to create more of a shadow underneath our chin. Now I'm taking my iconic illuminating drops, and these are in the shade Original. I'm just going to dot it, 3 little dots here, same the other side, a little bit on my cupid's bow and a little bit on the centre of my nose as well, as doing it in the corner of my eyes and on my brow bone. Now I'm picking up, this is I think an Urban Decay double-ended eyeshadow brush, but I'm using the fluffy end just to blend that highlighter in. And oh my god, just look at that glow. Oh, the glow it gives is just unreal. Like, I've never ever ever had an illuminator that just gives such a lovely, lovely glow. It just looks nice and radiant and natural on the skin as well. So once we've blended in our highlight, I'm picking up my Laura Mercier Secret Under Eye Brightening Powder, and this is in the shade 1. And I'm just going to dip my Morphe Fluffy Buffing Brush into the powder. And starting the sides of my nose, I'm just going to pop the powder on and then slowly bring it out. This is just going to set our concealer underneath our eye area. I tend to only use this powder underneath my eyes. I don't use it for anywhere else on the face just because it is a brightening powder, so we don't want to look too bright on the other areas of our face. However, I like to look quite nice and bright underneath my eye, and I find it's perfect for the under eye area just because it's a fine powder, so it doesn't cake, and it really does as it says, it really brightens that under eye. And it blends really easily as well. I like to take less and then build it up rather than taking a whole load and then it's too much and then you have to take it all off again. I'd rather build the product up, so I take little bits and keep adding more if I need more in that area. So as you can see, it's really just brightened my under eye, made it appear more flawless with a smooth finish as well. Next, I'm taking my It Cosmetics Heavenly Luxe, and this is the airbrush powder and bronzer brush in the shade number 1. So these brushes are so soft, so they do cost a little bit more. However, I find the quality absolutely amazing, and if you invest in good quality brushes, your makeup's going to go on a lot more smoother and you're going to get a better finish. So I do say it's not just about the products, it is also about how you apply them as well. So this brush is honestly, well, all the It Cosmetics brushes, in my personal opinion, are such good quality, and I've never found a brush that actually lives up to their standards. I highly recommend them, and you wouldn't be wasting your money because they have such a long lifespan as well. They don't molt, like some brushes I have, the bristles just end up coming out, even some of my more expensive ones, and it's just such a waste of money, whereas these, they're so soft and they last such a long time. So I highly recommend the It Cosmetics brushes if you're looking to buy them. So I'm going to take my Laura Mercier Translucent Glow Powder, and this is the loose powder. So I'm only taking a little bit and I'm just swirling my It Cosmetics brush into the lid, and I'm just going to press that into the skin. And this is the Translucent Glow Powder, so it has more of a radiant finish compared to the Laura Mercier Original Translucent Powder, which has more of a matte finish. So for the look we're going for today, I thought I would use the radiant one just to set my foundation and bronzer in place. Now I'm taking my MAC Mineralize blusher, I can't even say that, Mineralize blush in the shade Warm Soul. So I'm just picking up my Morphe angled contour and blush brush. And this is the Mineralize finish blush, so it just gives slightly more of a radiant finish. And the Warm Soul, it's like a peachy sort of blush, which is really lovely. So now the base of the face is done, I'm going to move on to eyebrows. So taking my NYX eyebrow pencil in the shade Espresso, I'm just going to take my spoolie end and just brush my eyebrows up into place. Then I'm going to just go underneath with my pencil. And I just like to do this to sort of neaten underneath, make everything seem a bit more sharper. And I do take it out like a tiniest bit here. Just take it in a tiniest bit just to sort of create that sort of look. But don't worry, it won't stay like that because we'll blend it all together. Then I'm working from the top. Just focusing on the tail end. Oh, just drop the lid. Then this bit, I'm going to go up with my brow pencil just ever so slightly, like almost like flicking it. Just to create more of like a shadow on those middle areas. Then getting my brow spoolie again, and I'm just going to brush that all into place. Sorry, there's a hair on my spoolie. So I'm just brushing that into place, just so it blends in nicely. So you can see the difference already. This one's blended and this one just looks a bit more harsh. Now I'm taking my Benefit 24-hour brow setter, and this is in the clear shade. I'm just pulling that through my brows just to set them and keep them into place all day. And now eyes. So I'm taking the NARS South Beach Creamy Stick Bronzer, and I'm taking my MAC M304 eye buffing brush, and I'm just dipping this into the top of my stick sort of bronzer. So I'm just applying this to the outer edge and bringing it into the brow crease as well. And even though this is a cream bronzer, I just find it gives such a lovely, natural, radiant look, but it still has that bronzy finish as well, which is perfect for the look we're going for. So I like to use it on my eyes sometimes as well. So I actually always use bronzers on my eyes. So I do use eyeshadows as well, and obviously in this look I am going to use eyeshadows too, so I kind of mix it up a little bit. Some days I'll use bronzer, some days I'll use eyeshadow, or I'll use both. So for this look I'm going to use both, just to get a really lovely bronzy eye look. So I'm also just bringing it into the inner corners as well. And I'm kind of leaving this middle part here bare, so that's where we're going to pop our highlight later on. So that's just give us a little bit of a base to work with, so when we apply our powder products it's not going to be so hard for us to blend it all out, because we've already sort of got that transition colour set. So now I'm taking my Charlotte Tilbury Bronze Garnet, and this is a Colour Chameleon crayon, and it's like a lovely bronzy goldy finish to it. Oh god, I'm like butterfingers. So I'm just applying this to my upper lash line, and these eye pencils are really creamy. You hardly need a lot at all, so a little bit goes such a long way, so just be careful when you're applying it, don't press too hard. Oh, and then I'm bringing that up, and I'm also going to bring it in. So it's got that nice flick to the eye. And then I'm doing the same on the other side, so I'm just applying it on my lash line. Bringing it out slightly. And then I'm making a flick. Now I'm picking up my blending brush, so this has to be without any product on, just so we can really blend in the eyeshadow what we've applied. I think this is a Morphe M510, I'm not sure, or a 19. So I'm really just blending in where we've just applied the darker brown. And now I'm taking my Charlotte Tilbury The Bella Sophia palette, and I'm taking my MAC eyeshadow brush. Again, the number's rubbed off, I'm not entirely sure which one, but I'll try and find out and link everything in the description box down below. And I'm going to press it into this shade here, so the sort of more of a burnt brown. And I'm just going to go over those areas we've been with the bronze garnet crayon. So everywhere we've been, we just want to pop that colour on there. Then picking up our blending brush again, we're just going to make sure that's all blended again as well. So the key is to really blend this all together. Again, I'm just going back in to that burnt bronzy shade, and I'm taking it in the inner corner here. Grabbing my Urban Decay brush, I'm taking the smaller end, going into the burnt bronze shade and just applying that to my lower lash line as well. Now I'm grabbing my Charlotte Tilbury Colour Chameleon crayon, and this is in the shade Champagne Diamonds, and I'm just going to pop a little bit on the centre of my eye. And I'm going to make sure all of this is blended in. Now picking up my Laura Mercier Candle Glow bronzer, I'm just going to go over all the darker areas to really make sure that's nice and blended. Going back into my Charlotte Tilbury palette, I'm taking this glittery shimmery shade, and I'm just going to go over the Champagne's Diamonds colour we've applied. And now I'm taking my L'Oreal Matte Signature, and this is the liquid liner in the shade 07 Copper Signature, and I'm just going to apply this to my upper lash line. I just love the way it just makes the eyeshadow just pop. Taking my Wet n Wild brown eye pencil, I'm just going to go over the lower lash line and just darken that a tad. Now I'm applying my Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk Push Up Lashes. While that's drying a little bit, I'm going to move on to my lips. So I'm taking my Charlotte Tilbury's Iconic Nude Lip Cheat Liner. And then I'm applying my YSL lipstick, and I think this is in the shade 10, but it's rubbed off, so I will find out and I'll pop it down below. And I've got to do my little trick underneath here just to neaten everything up. So taking my concealer, I'm just going to apply that underneath my eyeshadow just to give it more of a straight lifted line. So I'm going to apply my lashes off camera, then I'll be right back. So this is the finished look of my bronzy, radiant looking makeup. If you've enjoyed watching this tutorial, then please, 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 please give it a big thumbs up and make sure you've subscribed down below as well. I really, really appreciate it.